From ghost workers to ghost schools, ghost hospitals. Which other ghost do you know around? I am talking about the new plague that is really taking every government down. Welcome to the bold analysis. Before we move further, I want to give you a challenge, especially those who are in the rural counties. Can you point a signboard of a school where you can't see any building, or a hospital that you can't see any building around that place? There's so many. Can you also see a police station where you can see a signboard of a police station, but you're not seeing even buildings around that place? What I'm going to show you here has really shocked me. This nation does not need to be destroyed by enemies from without. She is being destroyed by enemies from within in the name of greed and corruption. It is sad state of affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, in this country we have devolution, and that is one way of money getting away from the national government to the people. In this country we have CDF. That is also another way of decentralizing the funds from the national government through the MP's kitty. And apart from that, we have capitation, disbursement to schools, and we also have some other money that goes into construction of hospitals and schools, depending on all other ministries. What I want to show you about this expose by NTV is mind-blowing. It is shocking. I don't just know how people can even be this evil. In fact, I think in this country, the level of corruption is evil. Listen to this story.
Welcome all to Kapchonyi Girls High School, Kabarnet. Allow us to give you a tour of our magnificent school, where we are strictly keen on climate change mitigation. Our school compound boasts a lush green view. Trees and bushes cover the entire compound, clearly giving away our secret to academic excellence. A green environment equals fresh air, and fresh air equals sharp and steady brains. And if that is not enough, our motto, sacrifice to excel, will outline our ambition. Now, I know you might be wondering why you are not seeing any of us students in class or any buildings that symbolize a classroom anywhere. Well, before we go any further, apologies. We didn't tell you in the first place that the school we are talking about is non-existent.
It's a wish list. Kumbe ilikuwa ni wish tu kwamba kuwe na shule. Ile abracadabra bambo rambo boom boom shule iko hapo. Kisasa haiko.
Well, as he says, the signposts, gates are all a hoax. Kapchonyi Girls has no students or classes or teachers. Similarly, here is Kampinyasi Secondary School, and as the name suggests, only the grass and trees mark the territory of the school. If you will be seeking admission, this is Simon, and he is glad to be your designated tour guide at Kampinyasi School. To others, Kampinyasi Secondary is all but a figment of imagination, but not to Simon. And as Simon finds it hard to hide his pregnant expectations, more school signposts are being erected.
Signpost kwa mshangao. Sawa sawa. Baada ya kupata tarehe moja hapa, tukajiuliza
Mimi mwenyewe hata niliuliza chairman, mwenyekiti wa shule, ile signpost iko pale, akasema mimi sijui, lakini nasikia ni mita 400 inatuhusu kweli, tueleze ofisi.
This is a head teacher at Kasaka Primary. He tells us that one day he woke up to a new signpost of a non-existent secondary school 400 meters from his school. This signpost miraculously disappeared the moment they started questioning its origin.
Tarehe 8 kufungua shule, mimi nilikuwa wa kwanza kufungua na watoto wawili. Haikukuwekwa hapa. Nikauliza nani ameng'oa hii signpost, kasema sisi hatujui.
From these tales, I happen to have a little whisper of a secret to share. These signposts and school gates are allegedly a ploy to defraud the government of school capitation funds.
By all fairness, this country needs a radical surgery. This country, we are actually in ICU. And the state of our economy, why we are complaining about the situation, the problem is bigger. There is a bigger problem than what meets the eye. First, I want to really congratulate the Nation team for development journalism. I think they're doing the best in development journalism, and that is more of what is needed in this country. The more if we can do such of that, then really, if all of us can take that direction, I think it will be commendable. That was a good piece for the reporters that worked behind that project. That was a good piece. This country needs surgery. I'm just looking at, let me tell you, when you listen to one of the residents there, they interviewed, there is optimism. He is a bit optimistic that at least it is a sign that something good is coming. That's number one. Number two, do you realize those signboards are very new? They're not old. Now, so we want to agree that probably, to be fair enough, this is not an exclusive Kenya Kwanza problem. I want to believe, I'm not sure, yes, but a school building of a secondary school is under the Ministry of Education. It is the work of the Ministry of Education. So community can give land. That's what happens. Community can give land. Then the national government will construct the school. But that can also be supported by the CDF kitty. Remember, CDF money is not exclusively for building, but the national government through the Ministry of Education can build primary school and even secondary school. I did a story about Lenana High, so I know very well that after that school fell, there is a private school that fell in Ngando. We really did a story lobbying for government to construct a public primary school in Ngando. And Lenana High School shelved, decided to donate part of its land, and now a primary school is standing there. So, if you look at those schools, the signboards in Baringo, some are very new, like that secondary school. If you are walking, if you're moving, even if you're a government official and you're moving around that place, or even if you're someone who is new there, it's not a must that when the school is here, when the signboard here, the school is in the next place. Something will just ring in your mind that a school is around this place. So those signboards are new. That is why I don't buy the idea that probably this was just done way back. No. These signboards were erected just recently. And if you look at those places, they are forests. There seems to be no sign of a building. There should even be one building, then something will happen. And what I do understand is this. Apart from those signboards, I'm just thinking, what should be there should be that signboard that says construction of public primary school with the name of the contractor and the government and the financial and the timeline. That is what should be in those areas. But whatever has been erected are just ghost signboards that are leading to the forest. I just don't know how someone would pull that. Now, to make this matter worse, you see that school that has been condemned there, that Captured Girls High School. Look at Captured Girls High School. That place was even, and if you want to know, this thing is serious, it was even marked as one of the polling stations by IBC. And if you look here, Captured Girls High School. So one of those ghost schools that does not even exist there was marked as an IBC polling station. Tell me, did people go to vote in that forest? Did we have votes in that forest? I wish someone would preview. I tried to determine on how many votes came from that school. How many votes? I was just trying to ask around. Someone is telling me it could be, but that votes were presented. The only thing is that not that there were 0 votes. Votes were presented from this polling station. So this polling station, which is that bush, was a polling station even with the streams. And look at the way that signboard, until it even, with Republic of Kenya Ministry of Education, with the PO box, literally speaking, what's really wrong with us? So, that tells you that it's a corruption web. So I remember recently when the 2 discussions that came, and we really despised them, and maybe it's time we revisit. When one, the president held a discussion, or rather a forum, and Rigathi Gachagua confirmed that indeed they are fake certificates. They are ghost workers that get to government through fake papers. And William Ruto was even saying that those who got to government through fake papers should even refund us the money. Maybe listen to that soundbite.
Your Excellency, I cannot sit here and purport to give you advice. Lakini, this issue of fake certificates, I think it's a quick win for us. I think it's a quick win, Your Excellency. If we make a decision to get rid of all the fellows and characters with fake certificates, probably we could knock 10,000 people from the wage bill and recover $1 billion or 2. But Your Excellency, hiyo kibarua ni ngumu. Sijui utaanzia wapi kwa sababu sioni mtu mwingine akiwezana naye. It requires a decision at your level. And I don't know who will help you. Because unajua ni mtu wangu, lazima nikwambie ukweli. Watu wengi wako kwa serikali, wengine magavana, wengine heads of department, wengine wamekaa huku, wengine wamekaa na wewe hapa. Makaratasi yao iko dosari. So,
on this, let me also announce here that those who have fake certificates working for government at any level, please surrender and walk away, because it will not be business as usual as we go into the future. It is impunity of the highest level for any person to walk into a government office knowing very well that they have a fake certificate and actually get a job. I think it is, we spend 65 billion shillings every year on our education. Surely, we should be able to take advantage of the 65 billion shillings we spend and get the 650 billion Kenya shillings every year we spend on education. You should be able to take advantage of the 650 billion we spend on education and get yourself a proper certificate. I don't think that it's too much to ask. so that at least we can hire. Part of the challenges we have in the public service is because the people who are working there don't have the qualifications they claim to have. And that contributes to the problem that we have. But finally, let me congratulate the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the governors, and all that have participated in this conference, that we are harmonizing our strategy.
So that tells you the issue of fake. We've talking about fake certificates injecting ghost workers. Imagine on that fake certificates, that's not the cause of ghost workers. Ghost workers are workers who are not even employed with fake certificates. These are people that are not existing. The people that go to government through fake papers are just borders meritocracy, like they didn't merit. But really, if this school needed 10 teachers, then someone used fake papers, then the only problem here is the school is going to perform poorly because the teachers we have employed are incompetent. Now, that's not ghost worker. A ghost worker here, looking at this, is what we are seeing. A school which is a forest, and want to believe there are teachers that could be in these areas that are employed, money going there, capitation and all that, creating ghost list of students in non-existing schools. And when it comes to elections, this is the same network that is used, that the system would absorb to create ghost polling stations. Look at how bad things are. How evil can we be as a society? I said we are a bit sorry. We are even evil, to say the least. And that is why I said this country needs a radical surgery. There are three things that needs to be done, and I just don't know whether in this surgery, whether the duty bearers will do it. Physical audit of all institutions to counter-check. And let me just say what should be done. I know there are areas where these things can't happen. It's very difficult for them to happen in Nairobi, but who knows? Even Nairobi it can. The Ministry of Education should just publish the names of all primary schools in the newspaper within Nairobi County. Like they want to say names of all primary schools in Nairobi with their physical locations. If it is Kabiria Primary School, it's in Kabiria, with all the address in Nairobi. Then it's counter-checked physically, and that should be published across all the platforms. Newspaper, magazine, the radio, one day. Now the same applies to police. The Minister of Interior, give us a list of all police stations. Where are they? The locations, all. Let the public counter-check. Then the public will be reporting. This and this, this and this. This one is not here. This one, there's no classes. This one is ghost. Where is this? That applies to all the hospitals. Ministry of Health. Which are all the hospitals in your register? Tell us. When we leave there, you go to another ministry. Which other institutions there? Are all the assistant chief offices? Are there places where there is no assistant chief and chiefs and we are dispersing their money that we are paying? I think the big problem we have is ghost workers. And ghost workers thrive because they are ghost institutions. It should be fiscal address. Because with that, if you engage the public, hey, this will not, you will see wonders. Remember when Arati did an audit of ghost workers and got more than 1,000 ghost workers in Kisii county government. After immediately took over power. So I want to believe that should be number one. Let the public do this audit. Just the same way Nation went and did that audit in Baringo. Let others, let the public do it. Let them have that list. In fact, print it and put it in the assistant chief's office. Paint it somewhere. These are the schools. Counter-check. Do you know this school? Where is it? So that public can raise, and even media can do that job. I believe that can be done, but in getting a private auditor on that will still circumvent the whole thing. Number two, I agree, partly agree with Kenya Kwanza when they say, let's pay fees through eCitizen. Much as it has its own demerits, because nothing is 100%, it has its own demerits of people who are unable to pay fees. People who pay fees in kind might really suffer. And of course, the fact that when school is collecting the money, there is normally late capitation from the disbursement from the national government, sometimes delays. So they'll use whatever they've collected to run the school operations. But there is every reason to go digital. However, partially that will cure, but that will not cure. Because even the truth here is, it's only fees, even fees is paid digital, it's paid through bank, then you take the slip. But in this case, these schools, the government will be able to realize, we have a school we are paying capitation, X amount of money. We have a school we are paying development fee, probably development money, maybe this X amount of money. But this school, in terms of remittance, how much the parents are paying, it does not match. Probably if you look at the list of parents paying through eCitizen through that school, are some 10 parents who are pseudo parents that have been created. Then if you look at the list that you are being given by the principal, you see a list of some 300,000 students. So this is a new conduit, and it requires urgent action. The other place that this audit should head to directly is the doorstep of IEBC. With the issue of ghost voters, people who die, Raila said people who die, on the election day they resurrect, they go and vote, and then the next day they go back to the grave, is real. With these revelations, it's very clear that there are some far-flung areas in northeastern, in those those far-end counties, that such schemes can thrive. Because not at many times that everything is confirmed. The Kenyan problem, this shows what I normally repeat, the Kenyan problem is not collection. The Kenyan problem is not how much loans we are getting from IMF and World Bank. The Kenyan problem is expenditure. And it's not going to be solved by any president. It has to be solved by us individuals. Those who we must just not be evil. Like this story, these are just, the people that are behind this are just evil. Someone saying, if this school, who launched it, yet to be built, and then it thrives in some sort of lack of awareness. I don't know why MP in this area also receives 600 million for CDF. And does he allocate some money and say, I have built X amount of money for this and that? In fact, this should be investigated, because imagine counties where there are this banditry, where schools cannot be built and cannot be done. I am seeing military being sent to build schools, and I'm wondering, do these schools have allocations from the MP? They have. And if there is corruption in security, then the schools cannot be constructed. Who benefits? These MPs. So that is why the conduit of corruption is wider here. Here, even the MPs that come from these areas benefit, because if there is insecurity, they know that services, people are not staying in those places. So schools are not to be constructed. But I know very well this can be the doing of the local leadership there. They get capitation from national government. The MP also says, create some very dummy things that have done X, Y, Z and have constructed schools here and there. No. This should be called out. And in areas where you need individually to take responsibility, like the president, is such evil plans. The era of ghost workers is here. And if before we know, that is what is eating our nation. because it's the path for people to save on the public funds.